everybody, and welcome back. This week I just want to, have a little chit chat, I guess. I've been saving money. I'm planning a trip to South Korea just because. I also have a few other places that I'd like to go to more locally. Not even local, but like domestically within the United States, the continental United States. And so I've needed to save money, and I've had a difficult time learning how to save money. It's not something people teach you how to do in schools. So I made a list of the few ways that I've tried saving money, and I'm just gonna walk you through what those are and then the pros and cons of each one, and just, you know, if it helps you, it helps you. If it doesn't, bye, sorry. So I've tried saving money a whole bunch of different ways, and I think they can all be sort of categorized into three main ways. The first being a constant. Essentially, you choose a constant amount to deposit into your savings account every time you get paid. Or reversely, you choose a constant amount that you keep in your checking account every time you get paid. So if you get paid weekly, like I do, I would transfer like $100 into my savings and I would use the rest of my paycheck. Or I would transfer the rest of my paycheck in to my savings, leaving only $100 for that week. Now, depending on where you live or your lifestyle or your paycheck, this has its own pros and cons. One of the pros is you can set up automatic transfers, so you don't even have to think about it. So like if you get paid directly into your checking account via electronic check, which happens a lot nowadays, you can have an automatic transfer from your checking to your savings, and you don't even have to think about it. It just happens every time you get paid, which would be really nice if you're forgetful, or if the reason that you're having a hard time saving money is because you forget to take it out of your paycheck. A con is if you get sick or your paycheck is smaller than expected, that solid deposit, that constant amount, might be stretching your budget just a little bit too far. And reversely, if you keep just a constant in your checking account or your spending or whatever it is, and you have a smaller paycheck, you're putting less into your savings. And with that amount that you keep in your spending, you have to be really careful about what you spend it on. So you just have to be really conscientious of how you spend. So if spending and saving are a little bit new, it might not be the constant within your spending, might not be the way you want to go, just from my own personal experience. The second kind is the percentage dependent. So you get paid and you take a certain percent out of your paycheck and put it into savings. This is kind of how taxes work, essentially, or your retirement fund or whatever you're doing that the government helps you with. That's essentially what they're doing, but you can do it with the net payment that you receive whenever you get paid and just take a percentage out and put it into your savings. Because it is percentage based, the amount you put into your savings is always something you're going to be able to afford. Like, it won't be more than what you got paid that week. It's impossible if it's a percentage. I normally stick to a 50% or 45% just because I don't have the most living expenses right now, and I like to take more into savings than I keep in my checkings just because I don't have those living expenses. If you have really high living expenses, you can cut that down. It's completely customizable to whatever you need to do. The con with that being it takes longer to save with a smaller paycheck or a smaller percentage. So if you get paid weekly like I do on minimum wage and you only take about 15% out, you're not going to be saving a lot of money very quickly. So it's just something that you need to work out for yourself. And number 3 is the accumulative, not to be confused with the cloud. This is all over Pinterest. It's like the go-to savings plan for Pinterest. And essentially, on your starting week, you deposit a certain amount of money and then it accumulates. So the next week you deposit that amount of money plus a little bit more. So the most common is you deposit $1 on one week and then $2 on the second week and then $3 on the third week, and it accumulates until you save approximately $3,000 at the end of it by depositing $52 on the 52nd week. You can make it $5 and deposit $10 the next week, or $5 one week and deposit $6 the next week. But essentially what you're doing is you're taking a small amount out of your first paycheck, and then the more you get paid, the more that's in your checking, the more you can put into your savings. Which leads me to my con before my pro because it's a good segue. You have to be really careful with your spending with this one, because if you want to follow through all 52 weeks or however long you're doing it, you have to be aware that the first weeks are easier to save because you're not expected to have that amount in your checking or your spending. But if you spend that, then the weeks later are going to be much more difficult. So what I'm doing currently is $5 every week. So week 1 is $5, week 2 is $10, week 3 is $15. But when you get higher up, then you're getting into like $300 a week. And my paycheck is less than that. So I have to be really careful about what I spend so that the further weeks don't break my bank. But the pro to that is you can save a lot of money in a short amount of time. So it depends on what you want to do. So those are 3 ways that I have saved money in the past few years that I've decided have worked for me, kind of, sort of. If you have any savings ideas, let me know down below. I'm having a hard time balancing what I'm saving with what I'm spending, right? That's what we always have. I'm saving a lot, but I'll spend some things on necessary items and then I'll go out with friends and then I'll spend way too much. I have a hard time setting a limit on that, and so that's why I've found like little loopholes in all of these scenarios. I'm still learning. If you have any other savings plans or methods that you do, let me know down below, and I will see you guys next week. Bye!